We are doing girl codes that we swear by and ones that we don't. Caleb, what do you think about the girl code rule? If I don't like someone, you don't like someone. You're fresh out of a relationship and your friend's like, so now that y'all are broken up, my time to slide in. Guess up your friends on social media. Like, what are we doing? You go home and the first person you want to immediately call your best friend. And you're like, you will never guess what just happened. Oh, and I am buckled. I am seated. I am ready. A friend that's constantly complimenting your husband or your boyfriend. Girl, she's obsessed with your husband. She wants your man. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Happy and Healthy. I am your host, Janine Amapola Ward, and I am so excited about today's episode because for today's episode, we are doing girl codes that we swear by and ones that we don't. And this one might be a little controversial. It is definitely going to maybe ruffle some feathers or maybe even call you out because maybe you're the girl that's currently doing these right now, and maybe you have some growth. That's okay. That's why we're all here to learn. So if you are new here, my name is Janine. I post every Tuesday. This is a Christian podcast, and I'm just here to hopefully give you guys some entertainment, some godly advice, and also give you guys some areas that you need to possibly grow in as well. So I'm super excited about today's episode. I did ask you guys on Instagram for your own girl codes, and we'll go through those at the very end and I'll react and kind of give my thoughts on some of them. But I have a list of my own that I've written myself. I have ones that we should do and ones that we are absolutely breaking. But I think everyone's goal as a friend should be a loyal, honest friend where your girlfriend or your best friend, whatever, knows she can count on you and she knows that you have her back even if she's not in the room. So let's just get right into today's episode, and I'm super excited to see what you guys think about today's episode. I also want to remind you guys that I did already pick out 5 book giveaway winners. If you guys didn't know, I wrote a book and I am giving away 5 of these books, and I did pick out the winners. So make sure you guys head over to the last episode. The description box is going to have the winners listed there. If you did win, please email happyhealthypodcast@gmail.com and you will win one of my books, Becoming Happy and Healthy. And I am so passionate about today's topic because I wrote an entire chapter about friendship. It is chapter 4. It is all about friendship because friendship is literally make or break. So girl code is kind of this unspoken rule that you have with your friends of things that you just know a good friend should do or not do. And so you're not necessarily telling your friend to do these things, and sometimes you may have to, but these are the unspoken rules of girls. Like guys have their own bro code, girls have their own girl code too. However, I also think that there might be a worldly girl code and there's a godly girl code. And typically I want to just always remind you guys, there's a couple Bible verses that I absolutely love. I'm just going to read them to you guys straight from my book. But these are out of the Bible. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, bad company corrupts good morals. Proverbs 13:20 says, whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Proverbs 12:26 says, this is a good one, y'all. The righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. So the Bible is clear in telling us that who we hang out with, who we surround yourself with is who we will become. So choose wisely. Do you want to be wiser? Do you want to be more godly? Do you want to have good friends? Do you want to just look more like Jesus? Surround yourself with people that is their goal also. And so there is a biblical godly friendship. We see a lot of examples of this in the Bible. And so I just encourage you guys to go check out that chapter even more. But let's go ahead and start with the girl codes that we need to know, these unspoken rules. And I think that most of you guys will agree with me on these. So get yourself a drink. I'm drinking the classic root beer from Olipop. So good. My favorite flavor. And let's just get right into it. So here we go. Girl code rules we swear by. Number one is loyalty, which means always have your friends back. This means that if you see someone not having your friends back, they're talking bad about your friend, you're like, you're not going to let that fly. That is going to be shut down. And let me tell you guys, I have seen this in my own life where I have seen people try to talk the shishi about my best friends to me. And here's the thing. People are testing you. They're not necessarily maybe consciously testing you, but they're going to see how far they can go or how much they can get away with if you let them. So if they're like, I always have to think of a random name. Let's go with the name Emily. Say that someone's like, yeah, and did you see Emily's post? You're going to lean in and be like, I wonder what she's about to say. And if she goes, I can't believe I thought that was so weird. That's where you're going to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're not doing that. We're not talking bad about friends. And here's the thing. If you don't shut it down, you train people of how they treat you and others. So if you don't shut that down, and if they don't know and see that you're a loyal friend to their friend when they're not in the room, they're going to keep going. And then you're going to perpetuate this behavior and also let them know that it's okay for them to talk bad about you behind your back. Because now they're seeing, okay, she does it to this girl, so why wouldn't they let me do it about her? You train people how you want them to treat you. And so a loyal friend always has a friend's back. And here's the thing, there might be nuance. Say someone comes to you and they're like, Emily really hurt my feelings. I can't believe, I'm sorry if your name is Emily, but say they're like, Emily really hurt my feelings. And they're kind of maybe venting to you. And you can just maybe say, hey, that might have happened, but I'm sure there's a reason, or hey, maybe there's more to the story, or have you talked to her about it? You're going to encourage that friend. Have you talked to them about it yet? Have you sought clarity? Have you sought a conversation out first? Versus just believing at face value, yeah, I'm sure Emily did that. A good friend has her friends back no matter what. Number 2 in girl code is no gossiping, which this is similar, that bleeds into the other one, but sometimes we are the ones who are gossiping and we go to the wrong people. We tell our friend's business. Maybe your friend came to you in confidence and said, hey, I'm struggling with this, or this happened, or can you believe this? You are not going to go and share that business with somebody else. That is not their business. So what your friend tells you, unless it is a life-threatening, maybe they're, telling you they're about to do something, or they're really, really in danger. Say they're in an abusive relationship and their boyfriend is literally physically abusing them, and they tell you, please don't tell anybody. No. You care so much about your friend that you're like, I'm willing to risk this because I love you so much. However, if your friend tells you, this happened, I'm really struggling, I accidentally committed this sin, or I went back to my ex and we did X, Y, and Z, you're not going to go tell, Cindy, and you're not going to go and tell Lanny and who all these random people. You're not going to go and tell them. That is between you and your friend. And imagine if she found out that you told other people, how hurt she would be, how hurt you would be. You also treat people how you'd want to be treated. If you go to a friend in confidence and you tell them, hey, this happened, I'm really embarrassed, and then all of a sudden the whole neighborhood knows, you'd be a little peeved, right? I would be too. So a good friend, and in girl code, you do not gossip about your friend to other people, especially when it's something they've specifically asked you not to tell other people. Okay, number 3 in girl code is honesty. And honesty has to still be wrapped up in love, because when you're honest, you're telling your friend something that might be really hard to hear. And if you guys listened to my misconceptions episode about Christianity, I did a whole point on this about how love, true love, does not celebrate sin, and it does not celebrate wrongdoing. And that's in 1 Corinthians 13. And honesty is telling your friend the things that they may not want to hear. I have had friends do this to me, and it stank and it stung and it hurt. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to hear that. But it made me a better person. And it also made me look more like Jesus. There was a time when I kept repetitively committing the same sins and making the same mistakes Or I was maybe not dating in the best godly way. And I had friends be like, look, I don't think this is wise. You're better than that. I know there's more for you, and here's a better way. And yeah, it stank. But honesty is the best policy, and honesty is kindness if you do it in a kind way. And so you got to have season. You got to season that truth and that grace like Jesus did. Not all of us do it perfectly. I'm still learning this, but a good friend really does want the best for their friend. And so if they see something, you tell them, or maybe you tell them, hey, this is another example of honesty. They got something in their teeth. You're going to tell them. You're going to say, oh my gosh, girl, you got something in your teeth. A good friend does not let that spinach or that broccoli or that little flake of chili pepper stay in your teeth when you know maybe there are crushes around, they like somebody, or just in general, they got a booger, they got a bat in the cave. You are not going to let that fly. No, no, no. And I would be so mad. Actually, you know what? One time I did this and I was so mad at myself. Literally, this was like 7 years ago. And my friend still doesn't let me live it down to this day. It was just me and her. We were like, I think we were like a little bit newer in our friendship, and we got coffee together. And I didn't feel comfortable saying something. And she had broccoli in her teeth the whole time. And then she got home and she texted me and she was like, why didn't you tell me I had something in my teeth? And I was like, I'm so sorry. I literally just felt, I guess, awkward, or I didn't want to be the girl that was like, hey, actually, no, sorry. I am not that girl now. I will let you know. I don't care because I don't want you being embarrassed. And I'd hope you do the same thing for me. It's like one moment of embarrassment versus 3 hours of embarrassment. So that is another example of honesty is the best policy. But overall, honesty too, again, it can be, hey, I don't think this is right, or I think there's a better way, or I think you've been texting your ex too much, and I think this is not what God has for you, stuff like that. It's gonna sting a little bit, but again, if your friend is self-aware and likes to self-evaluate and wants to grow, they're gonna help, they're gonna respect this and be thankful in the long run. The next girl code rule is supporting your friends. And I think this has so much nuance to it, but it is still pretty straightforward. So you support your friends. If your friend gets a new job, they get engaged, they are moving, they got engaged before you did, they got a boyfriend before you did, they're getting married before you did. You support. Maybe they got the job that you wanted. Maybe they got the dream apartment that you wanted, the dream house. This is all very realistic situations that I think a lot of us deal with. This one's going to be hard for some people. Maybe they got into the school that you wanted and you didn't, or they got into the sorority you wanted and you didn't. You support your friends. And I talked more about this in my book because I know that this is such a difficult thing. Comparison, jealousy, envy, all those things. But you remember, the Bible says actually, where there is envy and strife, there is every work of the devil. And you've got to know that the enemy doesn't want powerful, godly relationships. He wants you to be jealous. He wants you to be insecure. He wants us to turn our backs on each other and be like, bye, because then we're not united. We're not one. We're not doing powerful things for the kingdom because we're too busy, bantering with each other, going back and forth at this kind of petty level. We're not thinking eternally. We're not thinking bigger than ourselves. And so also know that this can be a spiritual battle, but ultimately you've got to get with the Lord and say, God, help me help myself. Help me become more confident. Help me be a better friend. And sometimes it is faking it till you make it. Sometimes it's you tell your friend, I'm so happy for you. Oh, this is another one because I've had people struggle with this where maybe you got pregnant before your friend got pregnant, or maybe you're struggling to get pregnant and your friend can't. I know this is so sensitive. This is a different topic, but still trying to celebrate your friend, and you can still hold space for grief and difficult moments. And your friend, if they still love you, knows, hey, I'm with you. I'm praying for you. I'm believing the best for you too. I have a friend who is still single right now. And obviously I've been married over a year, and I met Caleb way back in the day, and she went through a heartbreak, early last year. And instead of, her being a bad friend and being like, it's not fair, you got married, she has been the most supportive friend I could ever ask for, showing up to everything. She was in my wedding. She's like, I'm coming for your baby shower. She's still single. and has been literally the most amazing friend. I am like so eternally grateful. So you support each other's wins, you cheer each other on, you cry when they cry, you celebrate when they celebrate. That's what friends do. And in tandem with this, social media. Guess up your friends on social media. Like, what are we doing? Like your friends' posts, comment, interact. Like, I have thought this where I'm like, none of y'all are interacting with my posts. Like, I'm not saying you need to reshare them or comment. Just give it a double tap. Like, let me know that you're interested. Let me know that you care. I do that for my friends because a lot of my friends also do social media and I want them to do well. I want their pages to do well. I want them to perform well. And so, gas your friends up on social media. If you think they look beautiful and maybe you feel a little jealous, now is not the time to do that. No, you're going to comment and you're going to say, girl, you look stunning. And then you can deal with your jealousy afterwards or whatever. Gas your friends up because, again, it's what friends do and it's what you'd want them to do for you. January is here and it's the perfect time to think about setting some intentions for a healthier, happier year. And as a mom to be, I've been thinking a lot about how to keep myself and my growing family healthy, especially after the indulgence of the holiday season. Anyone else? That's why I am so excited to share something I've added to my routine this last year, Fatty 15. It's not just like any other supplement. It's pure vegan source of C15, the first new essential fatty acid discovered in over 90 years. Did you know that C15 is 3 times more effective than any other omega-3 for long-term health? I didn't either. But low C15 levels can lead to something called cellular fragility syndrome, which affects 1 in 3 people, and it can accelerate aging, hurt metabolism, and even impact heart health. So if you don't want to get all sciencey about it, studies show that C15 works by strengthening our cells, improving our mitochondrial function, and protecting us against damaging free radicals. So the result, better long-term metabolic, liver, and heart health. Fatty 15 has been in the game for a while. It's a game changer for me. It restores your C15 levels, helping your cells stay strong and vibrant. And it also comes in this super cute, gorgeous, eco-friendly, reusable jar with refillable capsules. It's clean, it's simple, and effective. So this January, let's focus on taking care of ourselves so that we can enjoy every moment with the ones that we love. Head over to fatty15.com/healthy and use the code healthy to get 15% off your 90-day starter kit. Trust me, your future self will thank me later. And you. Next, girl code is that you share personal moments with each other. You share deep moments. You share raw, real, authentic emotions. No friendship can actually escalate and grow and become healthy if everything is perfectly hunky-dory 24/7, but you know that friend is struggling and they never open up to you. They're never telling you what's going on. They're never real. They're never honest. They're never vulnerable. That is what you call a surface-leveled friendship. That friendship is not going anywhere. It's going to always feel exhausting because you're going to have to feel like you have to perform, or maybe they're going through bad things and you're going through good things and you feel like you have to diminish your wins and successes and your happiness in order for them to feel good about themselves. That's just not how friendship is. And that's not the reality of life. I genuinely think with girl code and with girl friendships, you share what's really going on if you trust them. Now, there are certain friendships where you're not telling them everything because that's not your best friend. That's not someone you trust. That's maybe someone that you see once in a blue moon. But real friendships are deep friendships. They go deep. They care about each other. They say, "Hey, how are you doing?" No. I don't want the surface level answer. How are you really doing? That is so, so important. And so girl friendships are vulnerable with each other. That's how you grow. That's how you become closer, as when you hear each other's stories, you cry with each other. You've learned more about them. You know why they are the way they are, or why their hearts got broken, or what their upbringing was like. And you can be sensitive to that. Imagine someone has really bad dad issues where their dad left them or their dad is not in their life, and you're constantly rubbing that in their face, or, telling other people, yeah, she just has daddy issues. That's not okay. Okay. We're not doing that. Okay. And so I think real friendships share personal stories, funny stories. It's the type of friendship when, like, you have a crazy night and you go home and the first person you want to immediately call is your best friend. And you were like, you will never guess what just happened. Oh, and I am buckled. I am seated. I am ready. Spill the tea, sis. That's what it's about. I love it. Give me a little zhuzh. Give me a little piping hot something. I don't care if it's matcha or coffee or tea. Just give me something. As long as it's not like defaming a person or absolutely like slandering someone. Like if it's a funny story or whatever happened, but I'm saying not like a gossipy way. You guys get what I'm saying. Okay, we are now moving on to things that we are not going to do. And some of these actually, I think, have nuance. I think this should be a conversation, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So please chime in on the comments because some of these I don't fully agree with, and I think that they can be a little bit broken. But some of y'all are gung ho on these because when I asked you guys on Instagram for your recommendations, you guys were passionate about these. I was like, okay, let's talk about it. Okay, up first on the things that we do not do in girl code is we do not date a friend's ex. And I think we all knew that one. Now, I've never done this, never been interested in doing this. I know of people that have done this, and it really broke the friendship, to be honest. And it really didn't make the friendship go very, very well. Now, this is one that I think has a little bit of nuance. Now, when I'm saying ex, I'm more thinking in the traditional sense. Y'all dated 2-3 years, you loved each other, maybe you thought you were going to get married, whatever. Like, there's an actual history. That, in my opinion, I'm like, stay away. I don't think we should do that. However, there's been some situations where I've seen people do this and it totally worked out and they got married. And it might be a little bit of that was uncomfortable and kind of hurt, but it worked out. I mean, I actually know people that this has happened to. And maybe it made the friendship not, very healthy in the beginning, but when you do also realize that you don't own people and you can't control people, and ultimately, like, if God makes those people a good fit for each other, or maybe they are a good fit for each other, kind of like, who are you to say? However, again, I am not saying like I think y'all are going to come for me on this one, but I'm really not trying to say like, yeah, just go date your ex. I'm saying that maybe, for example, you liked this guy, I don't know, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and all of a sudden 3 years later, your friend's like, I know you went on dates with him back in the day. Maybe you've already moved on. You're married. You're like, I don't even care. Go ahead, girl. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying like you're fresh out of a relationship and your friend's like, so now that y'all are broken up, my time to slide in. Absolutely not. That is a fake friend. That is not a good friend. But I'm saying there's nuance because I know, for example, I had a friend where she was roommates with this girl and she really liked this guy. But the guy kind of was flirting with her. They were kind of friends, whatever. But then once he saw her roommate, he wanted the roommate and he went for the roommate. And it really, really, really hurt this other girl. She was so broken and it really hurt her. But the roommate and her were close, but they weren't like besties, but they were close enough. And they, I think, started going on some dates. And you know what? Now they're married. And honestly, my other friend's married too. And they've all reconciled and it's been totally fine. And there's no beef. It's actually something they both like laugh at now. So that's why I'm saying like there is nuance to this. But as a general rule, definitely don't do this. Definitely stay away from this. Like, especially if this is your ride or die best friend and this guy absolutely sucks or absolutely broke your friend's heart. Now is not your time to try to get your moment and get your little smoochies in. Now is your time to help your friend, grieve with her, be sad with her. And I wouldn't even be thinking about that like at all. Like, no. Enough time has to pass or your friend has to be okay with it. And even if you were interested maybe 5 years later, whatever, out of respect for your friend, you should say, hey, would it be okay if so-and-so and I went on a date? He asked me out on a date. I feel kind of funky about it, but would you be okay with it? I've had people do this to me where they were like, hey, I'm interested in your friend. Would you be okay with me taking your friend on a date? Kind of stank, but I was like, yeah, go ahead, because I wasn't attached and I was also like, we didn't really, really date. This is my point where there's nuance, but generally, no. If I had any of my friends try to go for my exes, I would be A, devastated, and B, I would be like, what? Like, were we even friends? What even was this? So I think we all get that rule. And I think there is some nuance because actually, someone sent me an example of a situation where this did work out. She said, um, my cousin who I'm close with dated and ended up marrying a guy I had dated before, but I ended up marrying his roommate. So I guess we both broke codes. We are still good friends. And she said, yeah, I'll add that a few years had passed between us dating the same guy. So we had moved on slash healed. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you have moved on, you healed, you really don't care. Depends on the depths of the relationship. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Okay, the next one I think is also so important, and all my friends are awesome at this. But if you and your ex break up, your friends are breaking up with him too. You know what I mean? Like they're unfollowing him, they're not engaging with his content anymore, they're not, DMing him, they're not texting him. No, none of that should be a thing anymore, in my opinion. And I think that's a little fishy, a little red flag in your face, a little, what are we doing here? If you see your friend is still DMing your ex, a little weird to me. No, if that ex is dead to my friend, he's also dead to me. Period. I'm so serious because I remember in my last relationship, not that my ex was a bad guy, but I literally kid you not. The day we broke up, my friends were like, yeah, I already even followed him. And I was like, I love you. Yes. Like, this is what they deserve. Yes. Thank you. That is a good friend. And I would do the same thing. So, yeah, I think that's just like a general rule. Hanging out or texting their boyfriend or husband. Say that you or your friend are dating someone or you're married to someone. You're not texting their husband or their boyfriend one-on-one. That is just very, very sus to me. I'm raising an eyebrow at you and maybe squinting my eyes a little bit, which is hard to do at the same time. But that's weird. Like the only time that I'm texting my friends' husbands is to be like, hey, Maddie's birthday's coming up. What does she want for her birthday? Or I'm trying to surprise Maddie. Can you let me know when she's in town? Or what's your address so I can send her flowers? Like that type of stuff. Or maybe there's like a one-off situation. Maddie's not answering. You need to call him. But y'all are never just chit-chatting. I'm never just like, what's up, Grant? How's your day going? Oh my gosh, what'd you do today? How's your quiet time with the Lord? No, we are not doing that. That'd be so weird. If I saw that one of my friends was hitting up my husband and we were just chit-chatting and they were just shooting the sheesh together, I would be like, is there something I need to know here? Or I'd be suspicious. Now, around my birthday time, I typically see this and that's fine. I understand. I'm like, it's around my birthday time. But if my friends were to be constantly hitting up my husband, that's just a little sus to me. It's a little sus. So that's just girl code. And again, there's some nuance to this. Not everything is black and white, but I'm talking about like if there's like lengthy conversations, constant DMs, I'd be like, I think in tandem with that, a friend that's constantly complimenting your husband or your boyfriend. I've had this where, they're like, oh my gosh, your husband's eyes are just so gorgeous. And I'm like, I know, but why do you know that? Not that I'm trying to be mean, but it's like, whoa, thank you. But like, I've heard you say it 3 times now. Or, maybe she's like, oh, his muscles. He's been working out, hasn't he? I don't know if any girl says this. This is crazy stuff, crazy town. But like, I'm just using outlandish examples. She's like, wow, Caleb's really been at the gym, hasn't he? Yes, he has, Cheryl. And why do you know that? That is for me to notice and you to never say anything about. You may notice, but I don't need you commenting on it. It'd be so weird if I was just like talking constantly about how attractive or tall or whatever my friend's husband was. That's just weird. Girl, she's obsessed with your husband. She wants your man. So just, I don't know, do what you want with that information. Do what you want. The next one is if someone is rude to your friend or purposely making fun of your friend, you're going to have their back. And we're not letting that pass. We're not allowing that. We're going to defend our friend. We're going to have their back. Similar to kind of girl code rules to follow. It's like, we're not just going to let that pass. We're not just going to like let people purposely pick on our friend or whatever. Like And maybe people are joking around, like, obviously, you know the situation of your friend group. Maybe this is how your friend group is, whatever. But maybe someone's purposely, constantly picking on your friend. I remember, gosh, this was years ago, years ago. There was this guy who kept making, honestly, really, really rude comments about one of my friends. And he wasn't even being like really funny about it. He was actually being like rude and he was trying to like call her out. And I was just like, no, 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 no. A, you're a jerk. And B, you don't know my friend like that. And C, she's going through something in her personal life. Like, you're just not going to let that pass. And you can make comments just like, hey, guys, stop. Don't do that. Or like, that's rude or whatever. Like, just don't let that happen. And also, I don't even think you should be friends with people that keep making fun of you and teasing you and constantly making you the butt of the joke. Like, I don't know. There's something else a little sus about that too. But I also think in tandem with that, we are not going to make fun of our friends always in a group setting. If you're purposely trying to make your friend look bad, you're purposely trying to dig at them, you want everyone to know their flaws or something stupid they did, or you're pointing out their insecurities, or you're just simply being a mean girl. Like that is mean girl energy. And so I think that's something you just need to be cautious of. If someone does that to you, or if you find that funny to do to someone else, you don't want to do that because maybe you secretly are jealous. I don't know. Maybe you're secretly jealous. Maybe you really want everyone to look at her badly so that you can elevate yourself. I don't know. Think about it. I know we've all been there. I mean, I remember talking about that in my book because I've been there before. I remember this was, oh my gosh, 8 years ago. Actually was like, no, how long ago was this? 7, 8 years ago. Yeah, my friend was cute and all the guys liked her and I wasn't very cute. And I remember trying to find ways to bring her down because I was jealous. She was getting more attention than me. And I was like, that sucks. And so it came from a very ugly, nasty place in my heart. And that's usually where it's coming from. Like happy people, confident people are never going to try to purposely bring someone else down. Secure people uplift other people and bring them higher and want the best for them and aren't trying to purposely make them look bad. So I don't know. Just be cautious of that as well. Another thing that we're not doing, especially as Christian women, women of God, is we're not letting our friends date non-believers and link up with lukewarm guys. This one, ooh, controversial. I know. And I'm noticing that this is the thing because I have an episode coming out soon. It's an advice episode where I read all your personal things you're going through and I give you my advice. And I'm not dogging on you guys because this is real. I understand why. I once did this back in my days as well. But we are called as Christians to not be unequally yoked with a non-believer, which means don't link up with a non-believer if you are a believer. It's not going to go well for you. I'm sorry to keep referencing my book because I've talked about this. I made a whole section in the dating chapter because it means so much. It can absolutely wreck your life if you get linked up with the wrong guy. You awakened the desires, you've crossed the boundaries. Maybe you physically gave something to this guy because he pressured you, because a lukewarm guy is typically going to pressure you to do things you don't want to do. And so as a good friend and as someone who loves their friend, we're not encouraging you to settle. We're not encouraging you to compromise. We're not encouraging you to link up with someone that you know is not God's best for you. It is so clear that the Bible tells us to not be unequally yoked with a non-believer. And so if the Bible says it, why do we think that it's going to go well for us? If like God's instructing us, this is not going to go well for you. I'm telling you not to do this because I love you and I'm protecting you. So I know girls and people that have compromised on this and they regret it. And so as a friend who wants the best for your friend, you love your friend, you care for them. This is going back to the honesty thing. Telling your friend that you don't think this is the best. And I know your friend's going to be offended and it's going to sound like hate and it's going to sound like offense. It's going to sound like you don't want me to be happy or you're jealous or whatever. And that's not the case. You can just simply say, hey, I'm not saying this. The Bible said that. God said it. And if God said it, it's true. And God's way is the best way. And so encourage your friend if you can, because if you know what this can do, the impacts that this has on your friend, this may even affect your friendship. I know in my life, the friendships that where my friends have married godly men have made our friendships even healthier and stronger because A, our husbands love each other, and B, because their husbands are refining them and also we're refining each other. And we can all hang out together. And it's not this awkward thing where maybe her husband wants to go out and get drunk, and my husband's like, can we just stay home and watch a basketball game? This doesn't mean you come from a condemning place, but it means from like coming from a place of love, not shame, but also calling someone higher. And so, if we are going to be a good friend, we're not going to let our friend marry or date an unbeliever or link up or mix ourselves with anyone remotely lukewarm if you already know, maybe you didn't know in the beginning, but if you know this man does not follow God or this girl does not follow God, it is best to just stay far away as possible and not even open Pandora's box, because trust me, when you open that box, it is so hard to shut. Let's talk about making healthier swaps this year. I know it can be super overwhelming, but what I've learned is just making one small change at a time really adds up. And one easy change that I made this past year was swapping out what I cooked my food in. Did you guys know that most cookware and appliances are made with forever chemicals like PFAS? That's right, PFAS, also called Teflon. It is still widely used, even though it is linked to serious health and environmental issues. There's a better way, and that's why I trust Our Place in the kitchen. Our Place is a mission-driven, female-founded brand that's leading the charge with beautifully designed cookware and appliances that are completely PFAS-free. I've been using their Always Pan and the Wonder Oven and also their knives, and let me tell you, they have completely transformed my kitchen. Not only are these products healthier without Teflon or any other toxins, they're also so cute and just beautiful. Seriously, they are, and I love them on my counter like art pieces. But here's the best part. Art Place makes cooking at home easier and more inspiring. I find myself reaching for their products every day because they're not just functional, they spark creativity in the kitchen as well. Plus, no more cluttered cabinets filled with pans and appliances that I never use. So whether you're upgrading or you're just looking for non-toxic appliances, Our Place has you covered. So make the switch, say goodbye to forever chemicals and hello to a healthier, more sustainable kitchen with Our Place. Go to FromOurPlace.com and use my code HEALTHY at checkout to get 10% off site-wide. That's from ourplace.com, code HEALTHY, with a 100-day trial, free shipping, and free returns. There's no reason not to try it out. Trust me, you're going to love it. The next thing is, if you find out that your friend's husband or boyfriend or somebody is cheating on them, it is so painful. I've never had to do this, thankfully. I've never had to go through a situation like this, thankfully. But if you were to know and you had proof in the pudding, you better freaking expose that pudding to your friend, as painful as it is. But I would want that. I would want someone to let me know so that I'm not that I would ever think Caleb would do this, but I'm saying, I would want someone to tell me. And so it is a painful situation, but you do not want your friend to be staying in a relationship that someone has already broken the covenant. The next one is, if your friend wants to leave, so do you. And this has nuance. Say you go to a restaurant, you're at a party, they see their ex, or there's someone there who deeply hurt them, or maybe they all of a sudden, their period started, or they're having a really bad day. I don't know, whatever the case may be. And your friend's like, can we please leave? I'm really struggling. I'm about to cry. I'm on the verge of tears. And you're just like, but we just got here. I wanted to hang out. I wanted to get a drink, whatever. No, you're leaving too. You go with your friend. You make sure your friend is taken care of, because let me tell you, your friend will remember that feeling of what it was like when they had to walk outside that restaurant or that party or whatever by themselves crying and deeply hurt because you were more concerned about having fun and being social than your friend. And again, nuance to this. Say your friend genuinely, maybe you're not even best friends, maybe it's just you're in a group, and maybe your friend's like, hey, I'm so serious. I promise you. Go in the party. I'm okay. I just want to leave by myself. But you make sure she's good. Take care of her first. Don't go in. Don't be like, are you good? Okay, bye. Make sure she's good, and don't go in just leaving her out in the cold by herself. But typically, if your friend needs to leave or wants to leave, you should too, in my opinion. And I haven't done this perfectly in my past. I remember I was very selfish in like college and stuff like that. But I also didn't really have real friends in college. But I think sometimes you're more concerned with, yeah, but my crush is here or this hot guy is here and your friend's deeply hurting and you care more about that random dude than your friend. And I think that's where we need to be careful. The last, I'm wrapping up here and I'm going to react to some of yours really fast. So another girl code that I just think, especially since I'm pregnant, is asking any female if she's pregnant. If you do not know for a fact, she has not posted about it, she has not said anything about it, don't do that. Or if maybe this girl's eaten more and she's bloated and you haven't seen her and you're like, oh, how far along are you? No, big red no. We are not doing that. Never comment on a girl's body like that. Never make her feel maybe more insecure than she already feels herself. I'm obviously pregnant. I'm 21 weeks. Everyone in the world knows already that I'm pregnant, but I had people ask me if I was pregnant when I wasn't even pregnant. And I was like, dang, do I look pregnant? What vibes am I giving that says I'm pregnant? And it can just be hurtful. Maybe this person's been trying to get pregnant for months, years. This should just be an automatic no, 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 no. Please do this for the sake of friendships, for the sake of just being kind. You don't know what someone's going through. I love that someone mentioned this to me. Someone actually wrote this on my Instagram and I was like, yes, I agree. So those were my don'ts of girl code. Now, this one, I do have one that I think is a little controversial. And this is one I've struggled with and I've wondered about. And I would love to get your take on this because someone actually commented this in this, and I want to hear y'all's thoughts on this. So someone says, if you dislike someone, I also dislike someone. Now, overall, generally, I can agree with this. I'm like, yeah, if someone did my friend dirty, did her wrong, I had a situation like this where this happened, and I was like, yep, I don't like that. Mean girl energy, not doing that. And me and this other girl ended up not being really friends anymore. And it was interesting. But I had already known that me and her weren't going to be like super close anyway. But then there's sometimes situations where it's a little iffy, where, maybe you've been friends with the other person for many, many years. Previously, you've been friends for many years. And this person did something wrong to your other friend. And now they're like, well, she did me wrong. So you need to stop being friends with her. But you've had 5, 7+ years of friendship where you're like, wait, whoa. I'm just curious what you guys would do in that situation, because typically what I think should happen is those two people need to work something out. And I do think that, if someone's like your best friend, you might need to distance yourself from the other person, create some space. Maybe they're not as your ride or die as you thought, because, that's kind of revealing some cards about the other person. But I don't feel like the automatic, if I dislike someone, then you need to dislike them, should be a thing. That does feel a little petty and a little mean girl and a little kind of like not godly, because, oh, Caleb's calling me. Hold on. Okay, everyone. Caleb called me, so let's get his opinion on this. Caleb, what do you think about the girl code rule? If I don't like someone, you don't like someone.
I think it depends. It's like if a girl, another girl, let's say she hooked up with your boyfriend. It's like, okay, then probably if that person doesn't like that friend and you're best friends with that person, probably gonna be with a girl that helped home wreck your friend's relationship.
Right.
But there are certain things from a personality standpoint where sometimes girls just don't like other girls from jealousy or for out of insecurity, or maybe she missed that a girl did and she was like, I don't like that girl because of XYZ, and it's not a good enough reason.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good enough reason to tell another person that they shouldn't be friends with somebody. I think it's also like let people form their own conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll say this. If I have a best friend, let's say, we'll say Kyle, or we'll just use Kyle, for instance. And, and I had and the Bible's very clear, like, don't have enemies, pray for your enemies, or maybe it doesn't say don't have enemies, but it's like, love your enemies. But if I have somebody out there that I really dislike, it'd be challenging for me if I saw Kyle hanging out with this person, that I don't like. But you have to really ask yourself, is the reasons for me not liking this person out of sinful like, jealousy or out of certain reasons where it's not God honoring, it's not loving. Because a lot of times we don't want our friends to get close with another person because we don't want to lose that person.
Mm-hmm.
It depends.
I think that is such a bar. I completely agree. And especially like what you were saying. If this person is a homewrecker, they took your boyfriend, you know they're blatantly gossiping about them, whatever. Like I agree with that. But I do think there's certain nuance to it. But I do agree, like, if you know that the other person is really just not a good person, and then yet your best friend still hangs out with them, I would kind of question, like, why do you want to be friends with that person when you know that they're really not a good person? I think that's where this can have some nuance to it.
It can be a red flag if your friend is like, if your friend goes, well, that person didn't hurt me, it's like, well, that person hurt me. And so it just depends what it is. I don't think it's good to go, well, this person hurt me, so therefore you're not allowed to hang out with that person. But
Hmm.
you also have to set boundaries. And it's like, boundaries are okay. And if you don't want to be around a certain person and you tell your friend, hey, if you're going to be friends with this person, that's going to change our friendship. And if you're okay with that, our friendship is inevitably going to change. But you have to make sure that you're not manipulating the situation. If
Hmm.
you're manipulating your friend by using guilt as a mechanism to not have your friend be friends with this person out of, again, a sinful reason, then that's wrong. But if it's out of a legit, like boundaries stipulation, because this person is genuinely the right person for you or for your life, your friend should be able to easily discern whether or not it's a good boundary or not. And so
Hmm.
it's complex. I've seen it ruin so many friendships just because people are oftentimes more jealous. I see the situation happening more out of jealousy because a person just doesn't like someone for not a good reason than from a reason where it's actually a valid reason. So,
Right.
uh,
That's good, babe. Thanks for calling in. Well, you heard it here first. That was wise words from Caleb, and I completely, completely agree. This is when I was saying that it's a little bit more nuanced, has kind of, some different scenarios to it. But overall, if you know that person really did your friend wrong or they really just aren't a good person, I can understand that. But again, if your friend's just like, I just don't like the way she looks, I just don't like the way she, whatever, I don't think that's really valid. And again, I'm always someone that's like team reconciliation. Like I would always still try to encourage your friend if they want to be friends with the person still, or there's something unresolved, like, hey, maybe go to that person and you try not to be in the middle, because I think that's what gets awkward is when you get in the middle of the situation. But typically, yeah, I'm going to choose my best friend. I'm going to ride on her side because I know she'll be my life forever. This other girl may not even be my best friend anyway. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because maybe you have a specific situation where this has happened to you and it just gets a little iffy. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of, wrap up here, but I'm going to read some of your guys's that you have. So, a true friend gently tells her when her outfit doesn't look right. Yeah, I think that's good. I think also a friend also will say, hey, does this look good? And you can be like, nah, maybe a different shirt. I feel like that's really real friendship when you're like, I don't think that shirt looks good on you. Not that you're being rude, but you're helping them out. If in a relationship can't have a best friend of the opposite gender, what does that mean? I don't agree with this one personally. This one, I just don't agree with this one. I think they're saying if you're dating someone and if I have a guy best friend, my husband or boyfriend should be okay with that. I don't agree with that one, to be honest. I like this one. My closet is always open to my girls. If I'm not wearing it, a girlfriend can. I love that. That's a girl supporting girls. There are some things you just shouldn't tell your husband, but it depends. Ooh, this one's a good one. Someone did actually say this, like, hey, just so you know, if you tell me something, then you need to know that my husband's going to know too. And I think this is different. If you are specifically telling your friend, hey, please do not tell your husband, this is a girl problem, this is maybe an intimacy thing that I'm struggling with or whatever. Like, if you are really struggling with something personally, this is not something I think you should go tell your husband. But typically, as a rule of thumb, I know if I tell Maddie something, Grant's probably gonna know. I know if I tell Riley something, Jack's gonna know. So I think just be aware of that. And I think vice versa. It's kind of like an understood rule, unless you specifically say, hey, please keep this between us. And if you do say that, don't do that. Unless again, you think it's something genuinely damaging. Be kind and honest if your friend asks you if something looks good on her. I will never comment on how another girl eats, whether it's a lot or little. That's actually a really good one. I really like that one. If I have a tampon, mint, gum, whatever, it's yours. That's great. Love that as well. Love your friends wholeheartedly, no competition, and be happy for them. Regardless of closeness with a woman, if her date, boyfriend, husband talks, texts, flirts, I'm telling her. Period. These are really good, you guys. A lot of these are also ones I already said in the podcast, so I'm not going to labor on this too much. But yeah, lastly is listen and don't judge. Be a girl's girl, not a guy's girl. Always tell a stranger if they have a wardrobe malfunction. Yes, absolutely. One time I saw this lady, she accidentally had her dress tucked into her underwear and her underwear was showing. And I was like, I never ran to a woman so fast in my life. I was like, oh my gosh, your dress is up. I helped her out. She was so thankful. One time I had period blood on my white skirt. Someone told me, thank you, kind stranger. I appreciate it. Be a girl's girl. Have other people's back. So that was today's episode of Girl Code. Things we swear by and things we don't. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Did I miss any of the do's or don'ts? Comment down below. I thought this was just fun. I thought this was a different episode. I thought this was a little change of pace. And I'm curious what you guys think. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I love you guys. If you did win the giveaway, let me know. And then I will have more episodes coming soon. I was supposed to take a break on the podcast. Now, I haven't really figured that out. I'm currently working on a new podcast cover and some rebranding. So you may just start seeing some changes here in the couple, weeks of things that are going on. I'm not exactly sure if I'm doing a break necessarily. So we'll see. Stay tuned. But if you do see a new podcast cover, just give me a thumbs up and let me know if you like it because I'm really excited about it. But I love you guys. Be godly girls who support other women and pray for each other and love one another and support each other. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you guys next week for another episode of Happy and Healthy. But until then, stay happy and healthy. Bye, guys.